Alright, Shalom, Israel. I want to start by giving all glory and all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, QADASH. I'm the brother I'm for down to Florida, from the kingdom from Babylon. Come on, another quick hit to the spirit part by YAHAWASHI. Low one to edify and feed the sheep. Devil answered, I was an apostle, great millstone, who teach you well. Peace and blessings to the brothers who pushing this work into sincerity to the scattered abroad. And spirit was on me just go ahead and do a little lesson. Alright, low one lesson is edifying to Akimakwa. You're seeking Lord truth sincerity. Alright, but spirit was on me, strike the iron while it's hot. Alright, going into this reopening of the government shutdown. Alright, because we know during this government shutdown there was a lot of confusion. Alright, there was pretty much a division, and there was a lot of assistance and benefits, even jobs that were being laid off or cut off. Alright, during this government shutdown, there was last longer than any other government shutdown, according to Esau's pretty much count on this government shutdown, and how long and historical whatever for history's sake, right? You had it where multiple things was just taking place, but today, they was able to come to some type of agreement, and they reopened the government shutdown, or they reopened the government that was shut down. Okay, so now you have with these people, starting to put on sort of a smile on their face. Okay, you're starting to see, people are starting to feel a lot more relief. From this, government, opening it back up. But with that being said, Scripture also says, to be ignorant of a small thing or great, which we'll grab. Because when Esau does these things, and he takes you through the high and low and up and down, and type of emotional roller coaster, it's all for his benefit. Okay, and knowing these devils, man, they're just trying to cover up some things or distract you with something, or to bring in the next wave of distraction, or gradualism of what mental illness this devil come with. Put it like that. But I'm just grabbing scriptures and bringing out low when you're edified. Okay, now this is let me see, let's type it up small. Oh, great. Alright, so again, bear with me, I'm in transit. Okay, this is Ecclesiastes, known as Barak, chapter 5, reading verse 15. It says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. You see, so it says not to be ignorant of of a great matter or small, because there's always something that's going to reoccur or can occur. Within especially being in Esau's kingdom, he can take a small thing and blow it up. He can take a big thing and turn it small. And we know that being here in this wicked kingdom, these devils are known for playing on the people's mind. Their deception, them being deceiving. This is how these devils work. And when I say these how these devils work, I'm speaking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. For you new listeners, this devil is crafty in his works. He's a cunning hunter. He knows how to blend in. He knows how to deceive the masses of the people. He knows how to throw out some folly, out there that's going to catch the people's minds, than rather focusing on the real main agenda, or objective. And that's what he does. Because a brother had posted he posted a post going into why he said he put on there, he said, now we know this is probably the real reason why he reopened the government, because certain things was about to be exposed. All right, going into that, Jeffrey, to the stain thing. All right, you got to put it in those kind of words. All right, and code, because Esau, he liked to shut the videos down. He liked to attack your channels and everything. And as we know, we have to be a lot more. We have to be a lot more smarter, for lack of better words, when it comes to these things, man. Because still, we have to do these things for edification's sake, so that you are edified through the Spirit, man, and warned. Okay, feeding the sheep and warning the sheep. All right, but we know that this devil, he's always up to something, trying to cover up something. All right, and if it's not that, it's something else. If it's not something else, is a huge another, obstacle this devil about to take you on, man. And that's why it's important, all right, to be, knowing who your enemy is. Okay, knowing what they're up to behind closed doors. Okay, and as the scripture says, bringing it back, Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 15, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. And you can't be ignorant, in these times, okay, especially with all these things that are going on, okay, and taking place here, because these things are moving quick. All right, these things are moving fast enough that if you don't catch it or you don't see it, it'll slip right past your eyes. All right, it will creep right through your nose. Okay, and that's just how this devil plays it, man. All right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is known for being a slithering snake. Okay, a serpent that'll attack you if you're not expecting it, if you're not watching, when you least expect it. See? All right, so grabbing this too. Going into I believe it's first, maybe a second. I could be wrong. 2 Corinthians 2:11. All right, to back that precept up, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right? Okay, and we're not ignorant of these devils. There's the plots and plans, or their schemes. As it says in NLT, I believe. All right, these devils and their schemes. All right, through the Spirit, probably about Shemel Star. Through the Spirit, probably about Shemel Shai. We're not ignorant of these things, man. Starting with the elders and apostles, great millstone and down. All right, we know that this devil is very crafty at what he does. Okay, he's mastered his blessing to that degree, to where he knows how to utilize, all right, his he knows how to utilize his sword to his advantage. Okay, because we're on as in football terms, you got the people who have the home, all right, or advantage, and then you got the people who are out away. They are the ones that on the opposite side, they are at the disadvantage. Okay, we are on the opposite side. Okay, in our enemy's territory. We're on their lines. All right, and they're doing whatever they can to make sure they prevail at what they're doing in their wickedness in their kingdom. You see? But through the Spirit powered by Shemel Shai, as the scripture says, 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And I was reading one of the articles, and it was saying, even though the government, shut down today, end up opening, things are not going to go back to normal, which shows you that they got something else in store. You see, this is just how they work. They got something else in store. They're planning on doing something else, man. Who knows? This devil will whip something out the woodworks and throw you for a curveball. Okay, if you really not aware of what's going on, man. Okay, and we know that this stuff was known for, throwing these kind of curveballs, man, especially in times like this, because the scriptures, not scriptures, like but they have the saying, not to let a good crisis go to waste. Believe it or not, a government shutdown is a form of a crisis, because what? They're at this they're at a disagreement. All right, there's no agreement to certain things that leaves, for everything that's supposed to be under control to not be under control. And any kind of chaos can break out. You see? And that's what you be seeing when people are not receiving their benefits or assistance or getting their paychecks in time. Before you know it, there's people lashing out, okay, rioting, okay, there's uproars of the people, okay, a whole bunch of things happening, similar to the effect of what's going on with this ICE, man, in New York, LA, in Chicago, in many different cities, Mississippi. You have those kind of situations, stirring up when things like this during the government shutdown. You see? So that could be a sense of chaos in itself. And, we know that these devils won't let a good crisis go to waste, as the scripture says. No, slakia. Slip of the tongue. We know that, this devil won't let a good crisis go to waste. And as the scriptures say, let Satan get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. So we're not going to be ignorant to what he's, whipping up, okay, behind closed doors, man. Or we ain't going to be taken by, these things when it comes and catches everyone off guard. That's just why, through the Spirit by Shema Shai, the water YAHAWAH by Shema Shai, we are able to apply these scriptures. We have this wisdom, understanding, knowledge. This wisdom, understanding, knowledge shall be the stability of the times, and the strength of his salvation, and the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Okay? All right? So let's go ahead and grab this, okay, to back that up. This is the book of, let me see, because I wanted to grab, it's in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and it reads, verse 21, it says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Okay? And even though things seem to come back to a normal state, all right, or being brought back to where things seem more normalized in a way, you still going to have it where evils are going to continue to grow upon this place. Great confusion, sword, and famine, as the scripture says. Right now you have, gas, low. Okay. You might see a difference in prices. Okay. And you might see these slight difference of a change, but this is just another wave that Esau is about to usher in at any moment. Okay. And we, through the Spirit, probably about Shema Shai, we know it says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth. Okay, everything is not spiraled. The prices have not spiraled out of control yet. Food prices, gas prices, none of these things that have really spiraled out of control yet. Okay, so it's still livable in these states to where people can relax and kick their feet up without it being too stressful in a way. Okay, yeah, you have it where the prices of living here has constantly rising. All right, you have it where you work in multiple hours, and your money's growing really quick, but it hasn't got to a point where you go to work and they're paying your rent is completely just, unaffordable. You have people who working enough, all right, to a certain degree to where they can still afford to pay their rent and still have a good time. That's why you have more of these people, all right, going out every time, because that's their way of relieving themselves from, being in that mindset of being overwhelmed, okay, of these things. So this is their way of relieving themselves, man. Which is why when things pop off, okay, when all hell breaks loose, it's going to catch a lot of these people off guard, man. Okay, because even though in the worst case scenario, things getting, a lot worse, okay, these people are still trying to, find some way to normalize things or make themselves to feel normal in a crisis or in a pandemic situation, man. Okay, and we've seen that happen with what? The C-19. All right. But I'm going to grab this right here. All right, but I'm going to close it out with that. This is 2 Thessalonians. Let me see. Just getting a point. It says, I believe it's 1 Thessalonians, actually. Yeah, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. And I'm going to close it out with this. Once again, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to you. I can walk the secret knowledge with sincerity. It says, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Okay? And the point is that, everything could be all good and dandy. They can tell you, everything's back to normal. They could tell you, everything is all good, and everybody could go back to doing as they was pleased. Do as you please before. The whole saying. And the whole time, they could be setting you up for destruction, and really that's what they're doing. Okay, because you can't put nothing past these devils, man. Okay, Esau Edom is known to, as I said before, be crafty in his works. Okay, he knows how to deceive the masses of the people by any means is necessary to his likings. You see, but we know that those who trust in his kingdom, trust in Esau Edom and his benefits and his assistance, you're gonna find yourself in a world of trouble. All right, pursuant to Isaiah 30. Matter of fact, I'll get that right quick. We'll close it out with that. All right, because though they say peace and safety, we know that Esau has another thing, okay, in store for what he wants to do. And if you're not in that kind of mindset of knowing that he's capable of doing something, right after this, then that's going to take some examining. But it says Isaiah chapter 30, I'll start at verse 1, and it reads, it says, woe and destruction to the rebellious children, saith the Lord YAHAWASHI, that take counsel but not of me, and that cover with a covering but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Okay, and that's just wrong with our people today, man. All right, they don't want to make that necessary change. They want to continue in their wickedness, man. It says verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And that's exactly what you see with our people when they go straight to these offices, these buildings, these companies, outside beating on the doors, talking about when they finna get their assistance or benefits, food stamps. They all out there showing their ass, because that's what they trust in, man. That's who they rely on. In other words, and Jake is sadly sadly to see that eventually, this is what's gonna, come down, down the pipeline, that this devil is gonna really just leave you assed out, man. You're gonna be assed out when it comes to this devil supplying you with what you've been, pretty much getting fed this whole time. You're gonna lose all that, man. And he ain't gonna spare none of those, harsh draconian ways. He gonna lash out. Okay. It says, verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And that's why it's gonna be a shame unto you, man. Okay, because you're gonna be sitting there trusting in the one that's set up to oppress you. You're gonna be looking the shame in the face when these devils let you down. All right, when you was counting on them to supply you, to give you those benefits every month. And that's what he shows you this go around with the government shutdown. That's why you had a lot of Jake who were in great distress, because they was trying to figure out how they was going to pretty much feed their families. All right? But, that's pretty much the point. We at the end of this thing, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to Akim. And I'll go out there seeking the Lord just sincerely. All right? We ain't got that much longer here, man. The way this is, how it's going. This place is through. So with that, I'm going to close it out by giving all glory and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Once again, the boss said I was an apostle, MILLSTONE, teacher,